Hello, welcome to my design studio. Today I am going to demonstrate how to put together this cute little treat basket that you can either use as the basket or it can be put on a card as a pop-up mechanism. It's a very simple pop-up mechanism. This is the sheep one. The mechanism is all one piece. Well, yeah, it's one piece. And it's a print and cut. And what you can do is print and cut it on an 8.5 by 11 sheet, reverse it horizontally, and print again on the other side. So then you have both sides printed. Some of these pop-up cards, this is the sheep, have a different side for the front and the back. So this front has the little chick peeping out of all the flowers. And on the back, you see the back side of him. They're all the same mechanism. Print and cut makes it so that they fold nicely inside the card. Each card comes with a different platform, a different front. This little duck is very similar to the chick. He's in a cattail pond with his friends all the way around him. And the front cover has the cute little duck on the front. Again, it's the same pop-up mechanism, just a different print and cut on 8.5 by 11 reversed image so that you have the front and the back of the little duck. The one that I am going to demonstrate today is putting together the little bunny. Little bunny is wrapped in a basket. As you can see, there's the basket. You can put treats in there when you're using it as a basket. As a card, it needs to be able to fold up, and as you can see how it folds up, the front has a lovely card with the carrots. It's a whole carrot theme. Carrots all the way around, bunnies, carrots in the base. But again, it's very simple. To put it into a basket mode, you would use this piece. It folds down on each side, tucks up underneath the basket so that the candy doesn't fall out, as you can see on the cute little lamb. So I've got my cards ready. I'm going to get my folding board together, and then let's start putting this card together. I'd like to explain a little bit about the pop-up mechanism. This is the mechanism. It's folded in half. That would make the whole mechanism. But the important thing is I have it on my mat right now, and I have cut it out, and then I flipped it horizontally and printed it on the back. Then when I put it on my mat, here's another one that is ready to be cut. You can see from the silhouette, using the silhouette cameo, I have registration marks in each of the 3 corners that make it so that it will cut the image out. And that is included in the file, so you don't have to do a scan and cut. I have included that in the file. The image has no lines in it. There is a cutting line layer added to the file so that you can just use it this way. So you print it one way, horizontally print it the other way, and then when you go to cut it, it will cut around all the little pieces. This is Silhouette Studio's setup page.
We want to set this page so that it knows that it's an 8.5 by 11 sheet to cut. You set the height and the width of the page. We now need to set the registration marks by selecting the last icon on the top row. I selected the default, except I'm changing the inset so that the inset is smaller. Setting the inset to 0 actually sets it to the smallest amount, which is 0.394. Go to your print dialog box and click on the preferences, selecting what type of source that you're using. Note that I am printing using the rear paper feeder on my printer. After printing the one side, I then use my control to set the image horizontally to print on the back side. I do not need to change any of my printer setup. The image has been flipped, and now I need to flip the actual piece of cardstock and reinsert it into my printer to print on the back side using the same printer setup.
The one that we are doing today in this tutorial is the little bunny. And the bunny comes with a lot of different embellishments. The reason that you have to print on the back is because this piece folds forward. And so if you don't print on both sides, you will have a white side on the outside where you want the little carrots to show up on the front. So let's look at the other pieces. This is the pop-up mechanism. Each kit comes with the base, which you can cut by hand or you can cut with your machine. But it is makes a 5 by 7 card, so it's 5 inches this or 7 inches this way and 10 inches this way. Each card then also comes with the insert, and the inserts look a lot alike on each one of the cards. This one I added the little carrot. So that's the inside of the card. Then I've also included the graphics that I used for the front of the card. And I've given you a plain sheet in case you want to make your own card top. This is the one that I used. Other pieces that come with the kit are some backing colors. So for instance, if I were to just put this on the card base, the carrots would be green. To give it a little added flair, I have given you a colored green and a colored orange, so you can glue it on the back and it gives it that little extra punch. So let's get started by pulling off the print and cut sheet. I always like to tape my paper, which I'm using a 60-pound, no, this is an 80-pound. It's the same weight paper that American Crafts cutting paper is. I use the precision cut when I'm doing it. But for print and cut, I like the flat surface, whereas you can see this has a little bit of a grain to it. The print and cut one, notice I printed and cut, is a smooth surface. So it's not 65, it's the next one up, which is 80. 110 is a little bit too stiff. So let me go ahead and punch all these things out, and I'll be back. Okay, I've got all my pieces assembled here to put together this cute little card. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to build my card folder, so I have that all ready. When the little bunny is ready to be glued on, everything is pretty well assembled. Like I said before, this is a 5x7 card, so it's 7 here and it's 10 here. So I need to score this in half. I'm using a Martha Stewart scoring board. Find the 5. I'm using a fairly wide base stylus. It gives a nice flat center line, and I can fold it in. And I do my scoring from the top if I'm folding down. And I have my bone that I score make my crisp fold. While I have the scoring board out, I'm going to do the same thing with my pop-up mechanism. Now the pop-up mechanism comes with a very fine score line that I have cut in. I don't usually like to cut in on the score lines because it weakens the folds if you cut too far. So I have my scored part here, and I'm doing the scoring, and the first line is down the base of the basket. I guess I put it away. And I'm using a scoring stylus that's just a tiny bit smaller. And what I like to do is on my scoreboard is I have both the 5 and the 6 line drawn in on the scoreboard, so I can line up and know where I'm scoring. So I'm scoring at the base of the bunny. And I'm also scoring at the center part of the triangle for the base piece. I line up the 2 little points is the easiest way to do it. And then at the ends there are 2 spots, and I'm just going to fold those where I connect the basket. There are also score lines on either side of the hexagon. And I score these by doing the score setting on my Cameo, but I set it like at a blade of 2, pressure very low, so it just grazes the top of the paper. And as you can see, it does score nicely, and I can fold it. So when you get done doing this, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 score lines. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 score lines. Now the reason why you have this printed on both sides is you can see that if I only printed it on one side, when I fold the carrots up, the other side would be white. And this is the base, So we fold those. And it's then kind of a U shape. These two pieces come together. And the only place that they need to be attached together is at the top. So I use liquid glue. I know some people don't always use liquid glue, they use the self-adhesive, but I find with pop-up mechanisms, if you can use glue in certain spots, it's a much more permanent bond than using the adhesive tape. So basically I put glue just on the little leaf pieces, and I put them back side by side and glue them together. And then this mechanism, we want the pieces to overlap. And you can glue those together. And notice that at the base, we have a gap in between. And there's a reason for that. When you fold it down, you can see how the hexagon folds down, the bunny drops in. All right, back to the cover. My cover pieces, as I showed you before, has carrots in it. And I printed off a couple sheets. You can use your own scrap, whatever color you want. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue those in place so that I add a little bit of color on the back. Most of my pop-up mechanisms or pop-up cards just show the silhouette. But for this one, it just seemed like we needed to add a little color. And I added orange so that the carrots look bright orange. And I've added a little green. And if I line them up right, you can see that the green is just right at the top with the leaves. The card now, the insert allows you to have 1/4 of an inch all the way around, and the center fold has 1/4 of an inch. So when you put it together, it looks very symmetrical. So I'm going to go ahead. I use adhesive tape, double-sided adhesive. And the only area that I actually put the adhesive on is at the outer edge. Quarter of an inch all the way around. The center edge is a 1/8 of an inch. And I do the same with this one. Not the center edge, the outside edge. And not even on the sides, just the edge. This makes it so that the pop-up form flows a lot easier. So you can see. Okay, now make sure that you have your front so that you can add your front piece to it. Wherever that one went. Oh, there it is. This is all one piece. It does come with some additional pieces that you can actually overlay so that this white circle around there, you can actually cut it out of maybe glitter or a fancy paper to put on top. Make sure that your carrots are going on the right side. This one I actually added on to the card using score tape. And I do it on all four sides. When I position my pieces with score tape, I always fold over the corners, the one edge. This way I can pull it out, but still position it without it having to be permanently bonded. So get my little tabs come out on all four sides. Center it. And the corners are permanent, and then I can just pull these out. I now have my card together. Let's put our bunny pieces together. Now it's your choice as to whether or not you want to glue this down with this kind of glue, or if you want to glue it down with score tape. Fold it flat. I'm going to use score tape. I put it on each side of each edge. Center. Both sides. And then make sure that you check to see, the bunny is the same on both sides, but your chick will have a front side and a back side, and you want that to be facing the right way so when they open it up, you have the face. I'm going to take off my score tape, find the center of the card, and I'm placing it right on the edge of my orange undersheet. There is a 1/4 of an inch gap. I took the tape off and then I fold it so it finds its natural position. That makes it so that the card lies flat. And then when you open it up, it pops up. So there's your pop-up card mechanism. This kit comes with lots of other little embellishments that you can use on either the front or inside. I have kind of duplicated what was on here. I also have little Easter eggs. They're double-sided. You can put them anywhere you want to give a little extra pizzazz. I am going to put this on the front. The little bunny himself is actually holding his own egg. But as you can see, because there is this gap in the middle, this basket handle will stand straight up. Otherwise, it would be knocking. There is a slight gap in between it. So that's basically how you put together this little card. There are 4 in this series. You could purchase them independently. Some come with additional pieces to embellish with. There's also this piece that you can put on the bottom to make it into a basket instead of a card. I like the little lamb. We have lambs that are trying to climb over the fence on both sides. So I hope you've enjoyed making this card. As you can see, I have 2 different colors. I have green and I have orange on this one. One of the nice things that I like about cutting files is that you get to pick your own colors. When you have a print and cut, it's fairly set. But it makes a lovely pop-up card without binding. So enjoy making your pop-up cards. Keep an eye on this video. I will be adding new cards to it on Crafts You Print. Have a nice Easter. Bye.